We laughed yesterday as we prepped for today about we have text messages and phone calls on Christmas Eve. We were in communication through the holidays. Your Honor was kind enough to have 250 jurors ready. I believe you said you had 250 backup. The day before that trial, the case was dismissed with what we thought was without explanation. And then, of course, as we noted in our motion for bond, in our footnote 1 or 2, the state issued a statement about not wanting to wait for a ruling by the court. That's just unacceptable. And the bottom line is that the state didn't give Mr. Demons the ability to get his not guilty verdict. Because I'll say right now, that would have been a 30-minute not guilty verdict. It would have taken 25 minutes to choose a foreperson and 5 minutes to deliberate, and he's found not guilty in that case. So he was denied that opportunity to get his not guilty.
Some of y'all, that's Drew Finland. That's the billion-dollar lawyer, Drew Finland. What he basically said was, oh, when y'all press play for the last time we was about to go to trial for the witness tampering stuff, which carries a life sentence again, y'all backed out and we was going to get a not guilty. See, Drew basically said, hey, man, our case against what they had was so good that we was going to be able to wrap this shit up in literally less than 30 minutes. So what happened today? Let's go.
So when we look at the first issue of proof evident, presumption great, and I know these are issues that the court is very aware of, and it's interesting, and Your Honor, I think pro hoc vici is not a right, but it's a privilege, and I appreciate that privilege, and I'm trying to do everything I can to understand, because things are different when you travel around, but some things are not different. So here's what's not different when we use this incredibly high standard in the state of Florida, which is beyond guilt and reasonable doubt, and that is that this is a case that a jury was not able to render a verdict. 1, this is a case with no DNA implicating Mr. Demons. 2, this is a case with no fingerprints implicating Mr. Demons. 3, this is a case with no surveillance showing that he had anything to do with being in a vehicle or, more importantly, shooting anybody. 4, this is a case with no eyewitnesses whatsoever. 5, this is a case where we have a detective, the lead detective that ties the bow and brings it home at the end, that is asking another officer to lie. Your Honor, I'm not one of those lawyers that says at night, you know, God, what a crappy profession. I hate it. I love being a lawyer. My history is full. That's how Ms. Howe and I are friends. We're not friends from trying cases. We never tried a case together. We have both been committed our whole careers to bar associations and teaching young lawyers. That's the foundation of our friendship. So we're both lawyers that are honored to be lawyers and respect the other side. Respect, you'll never hear me condemning prosecutors, and I always will jump at the opportunity to represent somebody in blue because our society needs them. But here's what we don't need. We don't need a lead detective pinned up against a public integrity prosecutor and right in front of her trying to get another officer to lie. That casts doubt on everything that Moretti does, everything that he touches. And I will be the first person to be shocked if he stays lead detective in this case. We've all done cases where somebody, for whatever reason, is removed from a case and a new person comes in and picks up what they did. But hey, if this case goes to trial, bring him on because he's a liar. And so then we have...
Whoa, that's that QR code, man. Y'all know what that is, man. They said no more 5. Nah, double that, double that, double that, double that. Put 10 to win. Thursday, swerve day, you feel me? Free cash, Seti Nash, man. They said 10 in your account. Soon as you start it up on your phone and start playing today. Y'all know what free cash do, right? All right, we ain't got to discuss that. Go ahead and don't be an Adrian Broner, man. Don't be a hater, man. Do your thing, man. Start playing games and figure out how you can win and spin on this Thursday. I'll catch y'all with this content.
Him to have communication with his mother. He has not heard his mother's voice in years. Tomorrow will be, I think, the 3rd or 4th birthday where he's not had a family member say happy birthday. And so I think, you know, we'll work with the court as far as those people that he can communicate with. But it is time for a bond to be set. If I can just confer with counsel before I conclude, that would be great. Thank you.
So Detective Moretti essentially gets destroyed by Drew Fillon because Moretti is a liar. Moretti told people that he wanted people to lie for him in order to get a conviction, in order for the cell phone and all of this stuff. It's like they try to say it's tongue in cheek, but when is it tongue in cheek for officers to play like that during a double murder investigation? But I want to read these footnotes. This is like 4 minutes. It just sums up the day because it was a long, long, long day. And the stuff I want to play, you guys will fall asleep. But let's finish this out with this. Roll it. Y'all know I'm always shout out my guy Bryson Boone Paul, man. So Jamie King's YNW Melly's mother, but that's actually his grandma that's actually on the stand. YNW Melly still has his great grandma, bro. Like, youngin' is blessed. Like, bro, his grandma look young. This is a young looking woman, for her age, bro. And she still got her mom here. So she basically says she's written to the jail and it got returned to sender. What they were doing they were showing that people have been trying to talk to YNW Melly and he ain't even been getting the freaking mail. Then you have basically one of the managers of 100K Management, and basically she says she's never met YNW Melly, says it has been difficult to manage him as a client being detained. She says YNW Melly is still signed at 300 in Atlantic Records. If released on bond, YNW Melly will stay at an undisclosed home in Broward County. Basically said, we have the money to take care of all of this stuff. And then this guy came on here, and it's a long clip. That's why I'm just going to read Boom stuff because it summarizes it up pretty well. He takes the stand, and he gets crossed by Kerry Hall, and then they admit that YNW Melly is watched 24 hours a day. And that's going to be important because what they tried to pull in this crap was the freaking video of YNW Melly, but it doesn't make any sense. It's clearly AI, and the state brought it in. So it says the officer addresses YNW Melly's behavior history with attorney Kerry Hall. BSO officer admits that YNW Melly's cell has been searched every day during his 7-year detainment. No drugs, weapons, or contraband has been found. Since 2019, BSO officer admits there has never been a single time that YNW Melly has had a fight or attacked anyone. And then he admits that YNW Melly has not spoken to any family members in 6 freaking years. So far it's going good for Melly. So then the officer begins getting cross-examined by Alexandra Buckaloo, and then BSO officer admits YNW Melly is in an entire dorm by himself. He has access to television, can change the channel whenever he wants. He has no shower restrictions. He sees 3 nurses a day. He sees a psychologist once a week. He has unlimited access to nurse and psychologist. He is not allowed to send out unlimited letters. He admits that some letters YNW Melly has sent out has been retained by the BSO. Then we go on, and it says the officer admits they have copies of majority of YNW Melly sent out mail to family. Then the BSO officer reads letters from YNW Melly to the family. Food is better. Watch TV all day. It's like a mini mansion. Obviously, he's being sarcastic, but they don't care. BSO officer admits that YNW Melly has been moved to Paul facility twice. BSO officer admits that YNW Melly has been able to receive mail if it meets the standards in the right address. Then they keep on going. Alexandra Buckaloo submits that YNW Melly's contract log on into evidence after approved by the Broward Sheriff. So YNW Melly's attorney, Kerry Halt, objects to the contact log. The judge fine, he gonna let that shit anyways. So the major admits that he has compiled a log on YNW Melly for why he has restrictions. So the major admits that the log that led to YNW Melly's first visit to Paul facility are authentic, mentions YNW Melly's previous attorneys also included calls for YNW Melly's first visit to the damn new facility. Then the major goes over the incidents that occurred. They're basically going to talk about a freaking 30-day violation where he had wire tampering charges, several violations, including using voice pen to allow others to talk to others. And then BSO major admits YNW Melly received a 2-hour restriction. He has lied to staff. His banging on the walls told the staff he don't give a F. He said vulgar comments to female staff. He was counseled for remarks towards the staff. He lied to staff about another video call, horseplay, passing notes, obscene language, the threatened duties, threatened officers basically and with violence and all this shit, but none of this stuff ever happened. 20 days of disciplinary confinement. YNW Melly's attorney, Kerry Hall, objects, and then she says, we're going through all of this stuff, and judge lets her, meaning the other attorney, do all of that crap. But this is going to be interesting because what's going to end up happening is The major is going to admit that YNW Melly came to the Paul facility as a security risk. Admits they found a kite from YNW Melly suggesting he get a burner phone. Several staffers have also been terminated for assisting YNW Melly resources, including a nurse passing a note to him to begin a relationship. So a nurse was trying to hump on him. Then a staff member is currently under investigation for allegedly providing YNW Melly with a cellular device. The funnier part is, it's from hella years ago. Then the major admits he is aware and reviewed a viral video of YNW Melly's FaceTime at an NBA game. So then they basically talk about the AI shit. They never proved that this stuff was actually real. So then he basically says he doesn't know much about the friendship between Melly and Borland. Then he admits that YNW Melly did not receive a disciplinary report over the charges in his cell. Talking about all the shit that he did. He never got a charge for it. These are just notes that they wrote. So then it gets monotonous about a bunch of bullshit and stuff. Then he goes on and basically says, Moretti gets destroyed, and we showed that already. So we're just going to get to it, and I'll explain the rest to you. I'm watching this. I'm watching how D.A. Buckaloo kind of sucks. First off, you know that he was never on that phone. Never. And the fact that people are acting like that's real, a.k.a. the prison officials or the jail officials and the freaking defense, y'all do know if I say I'm watching him 24/7, I search his cell every single day, and basically he's in a place by himself. That would mean that you all can go ahead and determine that anything he got going on, y'all would see. So the DA goes on in her little BS diatribe and essentially says nothing changed. The previous judges, they said no. They said no, all of this stuff and everything. And basically, other judges said that he can't come home, he can't get a bond and all this stuff. But they failed to mention part of the reason he couldn't get a bond is because you guys said he was tampering with evidence, tampering with witnesses. The same charges that y'all dropped for Borland, the same charges that y'all dropped for YNW Melly. Well, last I checked, if you drop charges, that means it didn't happen. You can't sit up here and say, oh, we're just going to try to get him on a murder charge. That's not how that goes. It goes, everything you're wrong for, we're going to make sure you're wrong for. And that's how that goes. So I hear it. I just don't see the bullshit. The state, more than likely, is going to get their wish that YNW Melly stays in the jail cell until they get to trial, because they're still actively going through this case. They're still trying to cross T's and dot I's and all of this shit. See, one thing that people will not give credit to is the power of the internet. See, the YSL case, and one bald head, peanut looking head ass dude who decided to coin the phrase, I don't recall, has now made that phrase eligible for everybody in the United States of America to use. Because all they have to do and all they had to say is for certain things that may seem incriminating, I don't even recall. I don't recall. It's been, 7 years? The biggest, best part of today was that you got to see how inhumane it was and how the how the prosecution sucked. Drew Fillon admitted now, 3 years straight, tomorrow's YNW Melly's birthday, that they haven't been able to say happy birthday to Jamel Demings. The DA didn't even realize to say out of her mouth, hey, we got 2 dead people who will never be able to say happy birthday to their damn families, and their families will never be able to say it to them, only from a gravesite from his alleged actions. That's what you should have did, but you didn't. Because I'm slightly a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not saying Drew did this at all. I'm not saying that, they came up with this crazy ass idea. I'm just saying I find it fascinating how YNW Melly missed that last court date and said, I don't want to go, I ain't got to go. And all of a sudden you getting a court date and the chance for you to get a bond on your birthday? Stranger things, yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I think YNW Melly deserves a bond because at the bare minimum, y'all haven't found him guilty. Whether he's innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter at this point. But the United States says we don't act like our enemies, so we're not going to treat people a certain way. And in this instance, they are treating somebody a certain way. I think it's ridiculous that they just haven't sat up here and just said, oh, man, you know what? Let's go through and speed through this shit. They're literally trying to say, well, when we get ready and we don't like something that the judge said, we're going to go ahead and push this shit back and disrupt the damn flow of our evidence in the flow of the damn trial. But y'all, let me know y'all thoughts on this one. Do you think YNW Melly's coming home? Early guesstimation, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see him getting out. End of the day. The bodyguard shit sucked. The management thing sucked. But the best thing Drew did today was say, Judge, we ain't going to argue with how much you want for us to sit up here and give him for bond. We're not even going to argue that. You determine if you decide that we have. So now the judge gets to go, shit, if I do let him out. And I think Drew learned that from the Lil Durk case. But hey, y'all got to see Drew do what he do. That probably should be his name. Do what he do, Drew. But hit that goddamn video right there and see how Pooh Shiesty got 3 new charges, bro. Crazy shit. Click right here or right here for the playlist, and I'll catch you on the next one.